I am Rafa Benitez. You are watching the Redmen TV.
Hello, welcome to Redmen TV. The Uncensored match build-up shows are back. Slightly different in that we basically know nothing about the team Liverpool are going to go up against. We know it's a Thai All-Stars team, and we know that the game is Tuesday, 2 o'clock local time here, and that's about it. So we'll just talk around Liverpool.
We've got the big
general.
theory now as well.
Have we?
Ben's got it, yeah.
Oh, we'll come on to that in a moment. Exciting.
Breaking news.
Yeah. First and foremost, and as simple and open as it gets, Chris, the summer tour begins here.
It does, I suppose, doesn't it? It's nice to just be doing a build-up show again, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a very weird one. For me, it's great because ultimately the best thing about being a football fan is the football. It's meant to be anyway. It wasn't so true in the last few weeks of the season. But, you know, look, we've been building up to this. Liverpool have been making signings. Not all of them have gone on the tour, but some of them have. It's going to be the first opportunity for us to see one or two of them buzzing.
Yeah, buzzing. And, you know, want to see some of the others as well. It's not possible. I'm more interested in how we're going to set up, what formations we're going to play and stuff like that, because this is the first season for a long time where I've really genuinely got no clue exactly how Liverpool are going to play football, whether that be 4-1-2-1-2.
That's how Brendan does.
Yeah, well, that's it though, isn't it? And you want to see the new players, and you want to see... It's more glimpses of what combinations will be around the pitch and stuff like that, and that's what I want to see. But more importantly, the formation. I mean, it's just exciting. It's always exciting at the start of the season until you actually start the game, and then it's horrendous.
It's always a massive disappointment, isn't it, Dad?
What, pre-season?
Pre-season.
Yeah, because you go along thinking we're going to watch a football match, and it's anything but a football match usually, isn't it? It's usually a load of nonsense. The good thing about touring the Far East in Australia is that they get great big crowds in. So they're going to have like 50,000 in the crowd. So there's going to be a good atmosphere.
And the games don't kick off at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then they're on LFC TV, aren't they? Which at least, whether you like them or you don't like them, at least you know where they are. Not like you having to scout around the bloody internet trying to find out where they might be shown.
Yeah, I always remember that. Like, there was one when we used to do the Switzerland tours. Do you remember that game, Ben, when Reina came on as like a midfielder for the last couple of minutes? It was on like Eurosport 6, like Switzerland. It was on like one really dodgy satellite channel, and that was what the summers were always about. It was about. They're desperately trying to track down with these awful, well, it wasn't even a stream, because streams didn't exist back then, this awful satellite feed of a Liverpool game from somewhere. And for me, the excitement of it comes less from seeing the team and more from seeing flashes from individuals.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a few players that probably have got quite a lot to prove this summer, haven't they? There's a question mark over a significant number of them. So I'm hoping that there's a lot of them that I'll be thinking, you know what, this is my chance to really put a marker down, because the squad's competitive, which is what we want to see. And, you know, likes of Firmino, Coutinho, Chan aren't going to be in the squad for another few weeks, so the players who are already there are going to have a chance. You know, Sturridge not fit yet.
Who's going to be this season's Pacheco?
Yeah. This season's Aspas. This season's
Alberto.
Suso.
Aquilani. There's quite a lot in there.
Yeah, there could be one or two.
All of them were brilliant in pre-season.
I say this every year. So you can probably go back to this time last year and the year before and the year before that. I always felt Danny Pacheco was only ever 6 inches away from being an amazing player. Like, I remember him playing against Tranmere in a pre-season friendly and in the bar, and he kept coming so close. And sometimes you just feel like if you just get yourself a couple of goals, you're flying. That being said, Suso did that last summer and got nowhere near the team. So,
Aspas was class in pre-season as
until
well.
we came, against a bunch of no marks, and then we came up against
Celtic,
and
Celtic
he was dreadful.
Just swatted him away like he was a little boy.
I think that's actually the question I wanted to come to, the sort of let's call it the meat on the bones of today's show, is the calibre of teams that Liverpool are coming up against. Now, Brendan Rodgers kind of alluded to it because in his pre-match press conference, I guess, when he says, you know, we had a wonderful season on the back of touring the Far East and Australia last time, so hey, but, you know, last summer we played some really good teams and it didn't particularly seem to stand us in any great stead. You know, then we saw Aspas look amazing against a bunch of no marks, then was awful when he came up against some real opposition. Should Liverpool be playing better teams in the summer tour?
Not for me. And again, I'm just going back to me football manager, championship manager style things. Give the boys some confidence. Let them go into the season with a little bit of confidence and a few goals under the belt. I'd always play me under 18s with the last game before the season to get 8 goals under my belt, and then they'd start the season brilliantly. That's what it's about for me. Look, I don't want to be. I don't mind coming up against good calibre teams as long as they're not in our league. I don't think it does anyone any good to lose to Man United in the pre-season game. No. It doesn't do the fans any good. It doesn't do the players any good. So if you're going to lose to teams, make sure they're not in our league.
Yeah, and then you can break them. I think that's the thing, isn't it? That is that you can't replicate Premier League football. The only way to replicate Premier League football is to play Premier League football.
Yeah, I mean, pre-season should be about getting fit. And they combine that with a bit of PR in the Far East to try and earn a bit more money. So, that's what it's about. Running around on the pitch with the ball helps you to get fit. And it gives you a bit of a break from all that slogging with weights and running around the field and all the other things they do to get fit. Playing football, actually, is just like light relief for them, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind these sort of games, to be honest, because I think if you go and play, like I say, I don't know, an AC Milan or a Real Madrid or whatever in pre-season, it's no team's going for it. Whereas you play these sort of teams and you think, this is the biggest game of their career, these Thai All-Stars. They will be snapping at their heels and running as ragged within about 90-degree humidity. I remember reading an article a couple of weeks ago, I forget who it was now, it was an ex-player, said that their hardest pre-season game was always against Shamia, because they were just mad for it, like, and he's running ragged, and he thinks sometimes playing against a lower standard who are just giving it all is good, like. So again, I'm with John. I don't think the standard of opposition it matters. It's just all about
it's kind of
getting the shape right.
I suppose if you're gonna go to those games, it's nice. It'd be nice to. I suppose if the games are shit, no matter who you play. The only flip side is getting to see Totti in the flesh for me last summer for Roma was good. You know what I mean? And getting to see Ashley Cole in the flesh, but getting to see a couple of these players that makes it a bit more of a spectacle, more of an exhibition game, I guess.
Yeah,
but really, there'll be something in the games. I mean, for me, they played Chelsea, didn't they, not long ago, a few weeks back, and Chelsea beat them 1-0. So for me, I want to see us beat them 2-0.
Yeah.
Regardless of who's playing. Yeah. And when we go to Australia, I want to hear them singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" in a big crowd and that kind of stuff. Yeah. You get a bit of a buzz out of things that are not actually the game.
The likes of Ingy and Ings aren't going to know what hit them when they see 60,000 people singing the name, sort of thing, when they've not even hardly kicked the ball for the club. And for them to score a couple of goals with that number of people, that's going to do nothing but give them confidence. So
yeah, I hope so. I mean, I suppose that's the idea, isn't it? You technically play a weaker opposition, which should give them a better opportunity to just go through the motions of doing the things that you need to do in football. Whereas if you come up against the boss players, you're not going to get your chances on goal. You're not going to win your take-ons. You're not going, you know what I mean? It's going to be a bit too competitive. Whereas I guess what you really want is just to be able to practice, do all the things that you would want to do in a match, I guess. That's
it. I mean, you can't recreate Premier League football, as you've already said, but what you can do is you can put strikers in front of the goal and see if they can finish. Now, it's going to be easier for us against lower level opposition than it is against the Man United or Roma, and someone like a Danny Ings, who's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders, going to realise when he steps into Thailand or Australia how big of a club he's just signed for. He's going to feel that weight of pressure. The last thing you need is more pressure on the pitch for him. You need him to sort of just slowly get into it and hopefully get a couple of goals. And that's, as Liverpool fans, what you need from a side.
I think it shouldn't be discounted that how miserable that pre-season was, and we should have known, really, shouldn't we? I mean, ultimately, I know the Dortmund game picked us all back up because we were sensational that day, but losing to United and struggling against the likes of Roma and AC Milan and all that, we kind of got to see those flashes which we normally do, but you never felt like absolutely, you know what I mean? It put a dampener on a lot of things as much as anything else. And I'm not saying, look, this is based on the notion that Liverpool are going to go and play against the Thai All-Stars and Brisbane Roar and Cohen actually beat them. We've still got to go about the business of doing that. But you're right, I think sometimes just for the fans' sake, being able to hopefully get a win or two would do wonders, I think, for the way everyone's feeling going into the season.
It's more win-win, isn't it? I think if you lose to those teams, you're not that bothered either. It's not that big a deal because you can brush it off quite easily, but you can't brush off a loss to Man United in a pre-season fixture or a Premier League fixture.
No. Well, that Man United fixture in the International Champions Cup, whatever, last summer, kind of set the precedent for us against them all season, really. You know, we looked, actually it wasn't true at Anfield, I guess, but we looked the better team. We played some of the best football, and they came out on top. You know, it was we should have known better. We should have known better. That was a benchmark set, I guess. I think. Oh, first and foremost, actually, well, not first and foremost, middle and something close, second, third, fourth. The true Super Cup, as it's known, is our first chance at silverware of the season.
Is that really what it's called?
Yeah. I'm guessing like True is the sponsor, and it's not just some mad Tylish, I guess it would be, you know, like Miss Cross Translation, the Super Awesome Mega Happy Cup, you know what I mean, something like that. But the True Super Cup, there you go. But do prepare yourself, as we mentioned there, for just boredom, just horrific boredom watching these games. And I do worry sometimes. I did that interview for the We Go Again podcast last week, and I kind of said as much that we go into these games, and I think increasingly because of the way people consume the football these days, that there's no difference in how you watch this game to how you probably watch every Liverpool game. So there's an increased pressure and expectation that put on these. That we always say, you know, we used to be on Aldi and you get the score. It would literally be the score, and if you were lucky, the scorers in a little side column in like the back one of the sports pages.
Well, they have, certainly the Mirror and a few others. They print all the scores from the friendlies, and of course there's about 200 of them, and you have to go, no, I don't.
Hey, we won 1-0. Hey, great.
Brentford.
Got it, rip the paper off.
It's one of them though, isn't it? It's like if we were to lose all these pre-season games, there will be a real negativity going into that season. So equally, if we win them all 3 or 4-0 or whatever, there'll be a bit more positivity. Yeah. So I think it's like naive to write them off as nothing.
We definitely need that, but I think the point is that I think need to be reminded. There'll be a lot of people watching this who are geared up for this, and because we fall into the trap every single fucking summer of going like great, and then you get like a couple of minutes and a couple of decent touches here and there, but you by and large massively disappointed by the standard of football and the changes and the lack of continuity. Look, I remember I was actually thinking about this because watching some of the MLS the weekend, and I remember Joe Cole, when we played Toronto, Brendan Rodgers' first pre-season game in charge of the American tour that time, and he tried to chip from like 35 yards, and I think he hit the crossbar or something, or just put it narrowly over and be like, oh! And that was literally the high point of that whole game, you know. They're ultimately what you take from those matches, and again, sadly,
we're sad enough to be gagging for that, though, aren't we?
Yeah.
But we'll also get a first chance to see Origi, which we've waited a year really to see him, and so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and Ings
I mean, we've seen Ings at least in playing for other teams.
But to
see I'm looking forward to seeing how Ings plays for us, but. You know, Origi, I've absolutely no clue anymore because it's so long since I saw him playing for Belgium in the World Cup.
I think, as you said, though, the one thing that we can say, even though the pre-season compared to competitive games, I think the shape we go with will very much be how we start the season. So that's definitely something that we can see. Obviously, they'll all be sharper and fresher and fitter, but the shape is as we start. I'm assuming will be as we go. I can't see us like going with one shape pre-season and then suddenly changing and all that stuff.
I think we'll probably see 2 formations in pre-season. I do think we will, because he likes tactical flexibility, doesn't he? So I think he will keep that. I think, you know, but by and large, he will play a formation for most of the pre-season.
I actually wonder whether Lambert's gone along as like that proxy for Benteke or whatever, you know what I mean? Just keep, because you could have not taken him. You could have easily not taken him. You've not taken Balotelli, you know what I mean? So you can say you
could be him and Ings will alternate the same position.
Origi will probably be that as well, maybe.
It's definitely, and what we actually discussed the kids that have gone on the tour as well on the Reds News Roundup show this week, which we'll annotate to at the end of this video if you want to go and watch that. Somewhat the likes of like Joe Maguire was the standout part of the conversation about whether he can, you know, as a left back, can he play his way into contention for this season, or he could give Liverpool an option potentially. So I'm excited to see someone like him. I'm excited to see Ojo, Wilson, Rossiter. You know, I just want to see, like I say, it's glimpses. I don't expect Liverpool to be amazing, and if you're watching at home and you're going to watch the game, you shouldn't either. You shouldn't expect brilliance.
If they get a chance, they won't be treating it like a pre-season game, will they?
Exactly. So like I say, the one thing I don't want out of this is, as I say, is that there is a certain level of naivety, and I say we all fall into the trap to some degree. But if you're kind of new to pre-season games or whatever, do expect to be thoroughly bored. We might start doing some live stuff. We're not going to do for this one. We're just going to sit back and enjoy the boredom of this game ourselves, probably with cups of tea, because it's daytime kick-off.
But that's the thing to be thankful for. Because last season I was getting up in the middle of the night. I mean, we're losing, and that really pissed me.
Exactly, but that's exactly it, isn't it? Yeah. So do take
the joys of a Liverpool fan.
Do try to enjoy the game.
You realise how hard it is to be an Australian watching Liverpool, though. I mean, you have to get up for that every fucking week. I'd find another sport.
And they have to play.
Well, imagine you get up and you get beat 6-1.
Plus the fact they have to play 3.5 grand to go to the Burnley game.
Go and do a 12-hour shift in work after a 6-1 defeat. Fuck that for a fucking barrel.
There you go. Real fans on Redmen TV. Down the wall. Liverpool through and through. But unless they want to kick off at 1 in the morning, in which case they can get to fuck.
Fucking beauty sleep, that lad.
I'm buzzing. I'm looking forward to it. Daytime kickoffs just gives you something to fill the days out. Some little Liverpool games during the day. Boss, sound by me.
Better than transfer speculation.
Yeah. It is absolutely spot on. So there you go. We're not even going to bother to score predictions because ultimately it gives a shit.
6-0.
6. It'll let be
1-0 Liverpool.
It's going to be 1-0 to Liverpool. It's going to be the worst game of football you've ever seen in your life, and it'll be someone like, God, Skirtle or Lucas or Alan, someone who just
Alan's beard scores a goal.
Bumble one over the line with 4 minutes to go.
Someone you're not asked to see. Fucking Lambert will score, and I love you, Ricky, and I do would like to see you stay, but we want to see Origi score. We want to see Ings score. We want to see these new boys doing something.
So don't be scoring, Lambert. Paul doesn't want to see you score.
Square it. No, but it's right. This is what happens. This is pre-season friendlies all over. Everything you want from these games, you simply don't get.
Yeah, I've just read that the pitch is ridiculously bad as well, so it could well be just a flipping boot-it fest.
Phenomenal. That's what we want.
Well, there's no injuries.
I do actually. I'm sure this is. I remember reading the pre-season review from Moyes' era at Man United when they talk about this in like they talk about
really classified.
But you remember we did that?
It was almost like a dream. His tenure, wasn't it?
We read the match reports at the time because they lost all those Far East games 2 years ago, and all the ManUnited.com match reports were all like talking about like there's X amount of bicycles in Beijing and blah blah blah, and it was an occasion where David Moyes, it was just like just soliloquised about a load of other bollocks that detract from the game itself. So let's hope Liverpool do actually do something where they're talking about, but just don't expect it. Right, so there you go. Thanks very much for watching. If you've got more Redmen TV goodness, we've got the Reds News Roundup show where we discussed obviously Raheem Sterling's move and whether it's good riddance or a bad precedent. Pedro and Cheryshev, Jim Boardman's open letter, which was amazing. More about the tour, of course. More about the young players that have gone. Gary McCasser's first team coach. Henderson as captain. Skirtle's new contract. Who will be vice captain? Stevie G's LA Galaxy debut, and a whole lot more. Go and check that out on the redmentv.com. As there'll be a link to it. You click it through at the end of this video on the annotations. Go and check it out. Free for a month. Then it's just £2 a month after that. Loads of boss content to guide you through the rest of the summer and into the new season and beyond. Go and check it out anyway. Thanks very much for watching. Enjoy the game to your best, to the very best of your ability, and ta-da. Classic. Who's going to come out on top? Let's find out. Go for it, boys. Ha 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 ha!